Hola Madridistas, welcome back to another episode of Let's Be Real podcast. You know the drill. If you're new here, smash the likes and subscribe to the channel. To the people that are already lined up in the chat, much love, man. And also big up our partners, Manscaped. If you haven't heard of it already, we have been in a partnership with Manscaped for the past 3 weeks or so. The link is in the pin comment, which I think Jacob is gonna, put up straight away. But it's also in the description. If it's missing in the pinned comment, use LBR20. I repeat, LBR20 to get 20% off and free shipping on Manscaped.com. Manscaped is, of course, the pioneers of below the waist grooming, but they have a wide catalog of products for especially men, um, whether it be beard trimmers, deodorants, loungewear, boxes, all of that. So yeah, people, you guys asked for a way to show some love to the pod. This is the way you give back to our grind basically. So yeah, man, perfect excuse to show some love to us and Manscaped as well. Um, to more pressing matters, right? We know it's a tale as old as time. Going away to the Vallecas is never going to be easy. The crowd is hostile. It's basically an old school ground, if you want to call it that. uh, the crowd is basically right in your face from the get-go. um, but today we turned up like it was going away to probably a fourth division side. The lackadaisical body language from the entire team, the lack of energy, lack of intensity, lack of basically initiative, lack of you can put it in so many ways. You could argue we are missing a few players. You could argue we had a midweek away leg of the Champions League in Leipzig. Yes, if you add all that to the equation, this kinda is what is expected. But yet, we are Real Madrid, and there is a certain level of commitment, certain level of standards that is upheld for years within this club. And watching such drab performances really takes the life out of you, especially if you're living where I am and waking up on a 8 a.m. Sunday. It ain't really doing anybody any favors, right? um we have very little good performances to talk about, if any, right? Like me, Jacob, and Mo here, before we came on, we were kind of contemplating like who can we really pick up, and the numbers were basically one or two. It was that bad. And you could see how when people say confidence and leadership and um, level-headedness and all that is contagious. The way the match unfolded and how the subs basically came on and kind of basically hit it off the players who were already on the pitch was a testament to that. um the way Danny happened to lose his head and all that, like what for, really? Like I don't get it. The season is so long. The games are gonna be coming up thick and fast, and we already have people dropping like flies at that to the yellow suspensions that we are getting as of late, and the red card again. It's quite unacceptable to say the least. We'll break it down in a bit more detail. Please welcome my esteemed co-panel, Jacob and Mo. I'll come to you, Jacob, first. Quick thoughts?
Yeah, man. I feel like just like you, I know it's no excuse, but the players also had a early kickoff. We've historically had a problem going into the Vallecas, and especially
Are
if
you
it's
gonna
an early
be
kickoff.
Klopp now, Jacob?
Yeah, man. The grass was also like not even. No. Okay. Anyways, yeah, it was a hard watch to be honest. Both halves. I thought in the second half we would turn things up, but it didn't exactly happen. Where we didn't see any sort of leadership or like any performance that the players could like actually take inspiration from and build off
Mm,
of. So yeah, not a statement performance from any single player. I guess the only positive from this match is like Arda got some minutes.
mm.
For me and the Turkish fans, that's pretty much the only silver line.
That's an absolute joke if you really mean that, but I know you didn't mean that. the other big takeaway is the fact that we are basically digging our own grave. In past seasons gone by, especially in La Liga, where we kinda can look ahead to basically uh, putting the league. Obviously, like you can't really consciously put the league on hold and focus on the Champions League solely, but take alleviating some pressure at least on the back of the players and the coaching staff, and building up a healthy lead. No, I'm not talking 15 points, but somewhere around +5 would really help our causes. Come the end of the season, right? Like, but right now we are not doing ourselves any favor, and Girona, we have to basically rely on the San Mames crowd and Bilbao to do a job tomorrow against Girona if we have to keep this. Yeah, how many point lead do we have? 6 point, right? 6 point lead intact. But yeah,
Was it
it's gonna be a
five?
cracking game
I
as
thought
well.
it was 5 points.
6 point lead now.
Oh,
6 points now. Uh, but yeah, Mo, take it away, bro. Good morning, but not so very good match to wake up to.
Man, I had, the thing is, like, I've been constantly waking up. I woke up at 4, I woke up at
Mm.
6, and then I woke up at 8 because, like,
I
I was
slept at
worried
4.
about, I was
Tell
kind
me
of
about
worried
it.
about missing the match, and, like,
Mm.
you told me so many times, no, we have to do this post match immediately and everything.
Yeah.
But man, what a rubbish game. I don't really know. I don't really have any other words to say. It's like it was a totally rubbish game from Real Madrid. No, like you said, I think for me there were two big reasons why we lost to that. One was like the lack of intensity. Me and Javier, we had this discussion in the last post match. We said that
Mm.
Real Madrid, when it comes to Rayo, like Javier was saying that it's not going to be the same intensity that you expect in the Champions League games, and
Yeah.
he was kind of right. And like we did agree, but I said that this is the kind of games where if you lack intensity, this is why Real Madrid keep losing league titles despite having a good team. And this is how you lose league titles. This performance today. So for me personally, the lack of intensity was absolutely criminal from Real Madrid. And the second thing was like Ancelotti's tactics. I don't really understand what he was going for in the in the first half. Sorry, starting the game with Modric. I think Modric had a stinker, and like the tactics for me like completely didn't work. And the fact of the matter is, like, if you saw the game, you couldn't understand who was the more experienced manager. Was it Inigo Perez, who was like managing his first game, or was it Carlo Ancelotti? Because Inigo Perez made a switch in mid-game, and Real Madrid did not recover from it. Like we kind of dominated the game till minute 20 or 25 or whatever you want to call it. But once they
Yeah.
scored the goal, the game completely changed, and we couldn't really get out of our own half. We couldn't fashion a shot. So that was how bad Real Madrid were today. So for me, it's like I am disappointed both in the management of Ancelotti and our players and their intensity.
100%. I would agree with you and disagree with you at the same time regarding Inigo Perez. Yes, he's a budding manager, and I was my mind was blown when the commentator on La Liga for ESPN, he mentioned that he actually played against Falcao in the 2011 Europa League final. That's pretty crazy to say the least. But what basically aided Rayo, in my perspective, was the fact that they got the yes, they kind of switched up their press. They were a bit more conservative in how to press and how high to press after they conceded the goals, which uh, I think is the psychological reasoning behind. Yeah, we have something to hold on to for now, but before that they had to come out. So if the goal doesn't go in, and it was a very unfortunate penalty decision. It could have gone either way. I've seen so many matches in which such a decision might not be exactly given. It's not
I
clear
think
cut in my opinion.
I think personally, the penalty comes out of the fact that they changed their tactics. Wasn't just about pressing, but how they
Mm,
were approaching the game. Like before the game, their fullbacks weren't like overlapping and moving high. They weren't attacking as much. But around the penalty, they started doing that, and Pacha has completely out muscles Lucas Vasquez, gets beyond him like he wasn't even there, and puts the ball in. And we were caught like we weren't really prepared how to defend it. If that handball from Camavinga doesn't really happen, the ball might well have ended up in the goal, because the way Lunin was playing today, he made a lot of mistakes. His distribution was pretty poor. Even in the first half, the fact that we got a goal from a mistake that was actually made by Lunin, we kind of got lucky. We managed to score in transition because coming out, Rayo Vallecano were tactically naive, and they were, they were just pressing incredibly high with so much intensity, leaving so many spaces behind, and we took advantage of that. But when they started switching up, Inigo Perez realized this tactic wasn't working, and they completely changed the way they were pressing. They became more intelligent. They started covering up the passing lanes and everything, and Real Madrid didn't exactly know how to deal with it. And in that period of time, you expect your experienced players like Modric to step up, but he did, and you expect your management to do some tactical switches, but they didn't. At least nothing that worked. So for me personally, intensity and management, and players not stepping up.
A small question. I completely agree with the with your statement that yes, it was basically premeditated that what ended up in the pen. Um, but tell me one instance where Rayo basically had a few half chances, or even like nothing chances basically in second half. But give me a phase of play where they were looking like they're going to go 2-1 up. I didn't see that in the second half. So, yes, they kind of made it very uncomfortable for us to play out of the back, made our passing lanes basically non existent and all that. But I
What,
didn't really see
what was
them,
the end for Rayo Vallecano from today's game? Like, what would be they happy with?
a draw, obviously.
So
No, I
why
get it.
would
I get it.
so why would they be attacking and be tactically naive when they were getting a draw against Real Madrid of all teams? And for the thing is,
No,
like,
I get the
okay,
point.
okay, 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 let's look at this, right? Real
Mm,
Madrid had more shots on target, like especially towards the second half, because the
yeah,
way we ended the game, and then Rayo. But when you look at like expected goals per shot, Rayo was higher. So Rayo was creating
100%.
better
Because we were
opportunities.
super, super
So that's
poor
the
in
point,
our
right? Real
shots.
Madrid couldn't do anything. Like we couldn't really deal with their press. And when you have managers like Ancelotti, whom we have praised, and I'm not going to suddenly start saying that because of this game, Ancelotti should be sacked or Ancelotti's a dinosaur or whatever. But today I didn't really think that he adapted to Rayo's tactics. And Rayo, once they got their goal, they were like incredibly happy going home with the draw. And the thing is, like
Yeah.
even our goal, it came from an opportunity for Rayo to score a goal. And even after that, maybe they didn't really have this style where they were like completely dominating us and getting opportunities to score, getting into our box completely. But there were many instances where they could have easily gone ahead, like in the second half itself. The pressure from Alvaro Garcia and Chouameni forced him to make a
Chouameni.
mistake, and he could have just as easily scored if Chouameni hadn't recovered well. So for me, and there were numerous instances where Nacho had to come back and clear the ball from our own box. He made lots of interceptions in our own box that otherwise could have troubled Real Madrid. So for me, it's like, okay, yeah, what you say is right. Like, Rayo weren't really incredibly dominant team overpowering us. But I mean, they did what they did, and they were tactically intelligent to realize what they needed, what their goals were, and how to achieve them.
Yeah, just to add on top of that, that's
Okay.
completely right. And the thing is, Rayo did have like opportunities to actually hurt us, but then their final ball was kind of lacking. So we did escape, but
Mm.
a stronger team, like if we played the way we played against today against a better team, they might have scored more against us.
I
I
said
believe
this
there was
against.
also this opportunity in the first half where I think it was Baliu who got into a dominant position and played the ball where I think Raya could have just as easily scored, but they weren't able to because of what Jacob said. They couldn't get the final ball in the box.
I said this against Leipzig as well. We can't really, play games with, such a passive outlook. Um, but yeah, I kind of agree with both of you. But at the same time, I feel like, like, why are we doing this? Is it because we underestimate our opponents, or is it because, we are clearly feeling the fatigue of really, going at full throttle for, the majority of the season, or we are missing key, you know, uh, pieces in our chessboard. It can come down to a whole lot of factors, but we are good enough, at least with the players we have. Yes, we might not have the deepest bench in Europe, but with what we have at our disposal, we have to be doing so much better. Let me get into a few of the comments before we go further. Marcus Winningham was mentioning, I don't know what's the problem with Real Madrid players whenever they're playing in Vallecas, they struggle to control the game. It's just a very tough place to go to. It's just the fact of the matter. Um, it's not a walk in the park playing away against Rayo. Saliba was mentioning, what is Kamavinga's best position exactly? His decision making when attacking is literally zero. When he has to pass or even score, he waits to get fouled every goddamn time. I can see a point, in your sentiment, but yeah, it's a tad overreactionary. Kamavinga moving forward. Like, was it against Girona? He had an absolute masterclass. But yeah, he kind of have the tendency to really, ponder what to do, when he is at the edge of the box. But he's still a kid, he's going to learn. Kamavinga's best position is a box to box. He can play as a six, but yeah, his passing in deeper positions in the first phase leaves a lot to be desired. But if anybody else has something to chip in regarding Kamavinga, since we are on the topic, Mo and Jacob.
I'll maybe comment on his second half. I mean, first half.
Mm,
I felt like
yeah.
he, even in the deeper positions, he was taking a lot more riskier passes than normally we're used to seeing from a six. So
Mm,
that got me on the edge of my seat for the wrong reasons. But
yeah.
personally, like in the deeper areas, he did mostly fine. It was mostly when we got to their half that he couldn't maybe spot the right pass every single time. But
Mm.
for sure, this loss is not on Kamavinga, man. Like
Yeah,
midfield
no,
midfield
absolutely
as
not.
a whole, like wasn't working well.
The team as a whole.
Yeah.
The team as a whole. In my opinion. Saliba was also mentioning without Cruz and even Modric, this midfield has close to zero creativity. More would like to snap at that, but I will, let you off. Saliba. Matter TV was mentioning after conceding the penalty, we played shit 100%. After the pen happened, something just was missing. Whether whether we have to give full credit to Rayo or basically look at ourselves in the mirror as to how we kind of went about proceedings is also there's one thing when the opponent is basically as wily or cunning, you could say, to basically yeah, not let us play, not let us do what we want to do, and then there is us who really have to show some metal, show some bite to us, and then try to force the issue, which I've seen for a large part of this season, which didn't really um yeah, which really didn't materialize towards the next next 70 odd minutes or 65 odd minutes after the pen. But yeah, the good stuff. Let's start with the good stuff. For now, Brahim plays out Fede down the right. Classic Fede. Kalsen from the right. Places. Yeah, inch perfect pass to Hoselu, and he had the hunger, the tenacity to basically slide into the finish, eighth league goal of the season. Happy for him, more.
I mean, definitely when that goal went in, we were kind of happy. They were thinking like,
Yeah,
yeah, we were predicted like a 2-1 win for Real Madrid. Now it's gonna be 3 or 4-0 or 5-0 or
yeah.
building sandcastles in the air. But then the reality was something different entirely. For me, the Jose goal was brilliant. He showed a lot of hunger. He kind of like he was like, yeah, like I was having this discussion before. I think it was like yesterday or day before with another of my friends, and we were talking about whether Real Madrid are gonna buy Jose, if as like some people are expecting, if we do end up signing Mbappe. So for me, the thing was like this guy like really playing for his spot next season. So yeah, I think it was pretty good, and Joselu has proven through the season like he has a knack for getting goals at whenever he starts. Like although we have had issues about him and his finishing, the number of chances he takes and everything, but he has proven what Real Madrid spent on him and what Real Madrid is spending on him. He's a pretty nifty player to have if you do have him in the team. So pretty happy for him. But I mean, overall, Real Madrid, like I can't expect it better.
100%. Jacob, Hoselu, I think, in my opinion, has a clear role, even if a guy like Mbappe comes in. Do you agree with that? Do you see a role that he can play effectively for us even next season?
Absolutely. Just look at our back front line, man. Like we have no players over 180. I think Mbappe is also 178 or something.
Yeah, he's 5'11" or something.
Yeah, like when the shit hits the fan, when we have to absolutely get a goal from a corner or just cross and inshallah, who else can you bring on except for Hoselu? But I feel like we will eventually sign him, even if Hendrik and whatnot also comes and hits off. But yeah, specifically for this goal, yeah, I was kind of surprised that it went in first because it's been known that he needs a few chances to actually score, but it was absolutely clinical.
Yeah.
And 8 league goals for the season, not bad at all.
in Feb, yeah,
Yeah.
not bad at all. And the other question was, did he really get any other big chances? Because I can't remember many. After that, the service was absolutely lacking. Yeah, he's someone who has to rely on service. Without it, you can't really expect Joselu to pull magic out of the air. Right. The second good bit, at least, I should be the last good bit out of the game. More Fede Valverde keeps proving, why he is probably the most informed midfielder in Europe.
Yeah, man. I think for me, the Fede game could be divided into like what Fede was till minute 20 and what Fede was after minute 20. But
Mm,
even then, like I wouldn't like put too much blame on Fede already, because the thing is like he had a particular role to do today, and he kind of
yeah,
did it. Like after minute 20, he was like, like I said, Rayo kind of adapted to us, and we had trouble getting out of the ball out of the back. We had trouble progressing the ball, and for me, that wasn't down to Fede, but I could have seen him make more runs. That is what I was expecting. But then the thing is, like, he's been playing nonstop, so you kind of don't expect him to it do it every time in every game. No matter how good he is physically. Until minute 20, I think he was exceptional. Even the pass that he lays for Hostel was like incredible. You don't really expect too many people to be able to pull that pass off. So for me, I was incredibly happy with Ferre's performance. Like till minute 20, after minute 20, I kind of felt that he was one of the players who was like trying a lot, was at least trying to make something happen. So for me, overall, Fed's game today was a net positive compared to what others showed.
100%. Jacob Brahim, yeah, mostly missing, but played the pre-assist, if you want to call it that, for the opening goal. I think he laid off a couple of chances for Hoselu, I think, who, you know, which was unfortunately saved. But in general, yeah, these are the games where basically we call on someone like Brahim to basically step up and yeah, deliver. He did that a couple of days ago in Leipzig. Huge goal, a much higher stage, and a much bigger match of importance. But um, today, how do you rate his performance?
Man, even in the Leipzig game, like if not for that goal, we would have been slating on Brahim because he was pretty much missing for the whole game, right?
Mm,
And
mm,
he's just not doing the things that Jude was actually doing, which is connecting the
mm.
midfield and the attack, driving at the driving properly and taking the right decisions at all points in the game. Like I just don't see Brahim doing that. Even when he drops deep, he just hasn't been able to put his impact on in the last couple of games. And I don't know, maybe if it's instructions given to Brahim or if it's Brahim not actually doing his job. But yeah, I'm not totally impressed by him.
Right. Mo, Luka Modric, you were pretty keen on slating, how he kind of fared.
I mean, for me, the thing isn't like I'm not saying Luka Modric is a bad player or suddenly he's become a bad
Yeah,
player overnight. The thing is like, for me, Modric shouldn't have started this game because Real Madrid need a little bit of control when you're playing in games like this, and
we miss Cruz badly.
that is something you need Cruz for. And besides that, whenever like in the first half, Real Madrid were playing a little 4-2-3-1, right? Luka Modric was
Yeah,
playing as a cam, and it's pretty well known that Luka Modric doesn't do well as a cam. And for some reason, Ancelotti decided that he's going to play him as a cam, and even Brahim couldn't get into the spaces that he loves because of that. Luka Modric didn't really know what to do. He had absolutely no impact from it, and I think because of that, Ancelotti like kind of tweaked his position as the match went on. He started playing a little bit deeper, but when he started
deeper.
playing a little bit deeper, yeah, there were some neat tricks from Luka Modric that you always see, but the end result just wasn't there. I remember one moment like vividly.
He
It
beats
was
three man and then pings a ball
yeah,
only for
he
a two.
exactly. So when he was doing that, there is no end result, right? There are some highlights. If you watch the highlight reel for Luka Modric, you'll be thinking, yeah, man, Luka Modric is so good in this game. But when you actually look at the contribution, like what happened, nothing happened. So for me personally, I think the thing is like when Rayo switched their tactics, right? When they started covering the passing spaces, passing lanes, you depend on a player like Modric to step in and get us out of there, provide that spark of creativity, and he didn't do that. But the thing is like when Luka Modric started playing deeper and Brahim had a lot more space and freedom to do it, the only remembered chance that I remember from the second half was kind of like from Brahim. So the thing is like Luka Modric for me doesn't really fit into what we're doing right now, and he definitely has lost a step. And I think the thing is like Real Madrid with Luka Modric at its best, like Real Madrid is at the best with Luka Modric when we were playing in the old system that we used to play in with 4-3-3. A center defensive midfielder covering for Luka Modric and Toni Kroos and everything. With Casemiro, that thing was like absolutely perfect. But right now, I think Luka Modric doesn't do what he used to. Maybe it's because he's lacking rhythm because of the fact that he's playing start and stop, start and stop. He's not getting a run, continuous run in the team. But the thing is, like, till he doesn't, Real Madrid have completely moved on from him the way things stand. So for me, Ancelotti, given the fact that our poor record against Rayo, I think in the last 4 games we are like drawn like sorry, we've lost one. I believe no, yeah, we lost one, we won one, and drawn two now. So and given how the game ended in Vallecas last time we went around there, he shouldn't really have started Modric. He should have gone with Cruz, or maybe even if he wasn't gonna start with Cruz, he should have probably started Rodrigo and Brahim instead of playing Luka Modric in a position that he clearly is uncomfortable in.
So
Yeah, but
it's really go
can
on,
I
Jake.
just ask, like, Luka Modric, like, when he was actually playing, when we had those injuries in the middle of the park, he was actually playing for a bit, right? I think it was like 5 consecutive matches that he was like having a major role. And at that point, like, he was still kind of working in this 4-2-2-2 system. And is it just because he's just not match fit, or like he's not sharp enough anymore that he can't pull it off?
I don't know, man. The thing is, like, when you watch classic Modric, what do you think? You think of a guy who can move the ball across the lines, who can carry the ball, who drifts out wide on the right and pings the ball in, who beats defenders. The only thing that we saw today was like him kind of like beating 2 or 3 players, but then the final ball wasn't there, and I didn't see him carrying the ball. I didn't see him progressing the ball across the lines. And for us, like today, the biggest issue was getting the ball out of the back. We don't really have we don't really have a player like Alaba in our backline who can get the ball out, and we didn't really have Cruz. So when you don't have Cruz, Ramirez definitely do struggle to get the ball out. I think the way to counter that sometimes is to use Kamavinga in deeper areas, because he sometimes can get the ball out and he can carry the ball as well. Freddy does that well too. But the thing is, like, neither Freddy did it today, and neither did we see it from Kamavinga. And when Modric went out deeper, he kind of started having a little bit more impact, a little bit more confidence, but the final ball just wasn't there, and the impact wasn't there.
Yeah, like if you notice, like he even had a couple of instances in play where he was absolutely robbed of possession, and our defenders had to basically bail him out. I'll be honest, even before I came on, like I was like, I'm gonna let Mo and Jacob handle the Luka Modric thing, because really it's super difficult for me to speak about it. Even a couple of months back, I was very keen on mentioning the fact that I would love to see Luka Modric being played into rhythm. I even DM'd Francesco, we need Luka Modric, coach. We need to give him some minutes. Um,
So we should be
which
blaming you, huh? You should be blaming him.
maybe I don't know, but really, as a fan, as someone who gave me so many memories, good memories, right, like great memories. One of the most significant moments of my life is basically from his boot, right, basically. But um yeah, watching this unfold is just not great. And if the season pans out the way it is panning out regarding Modric's playtime, Modric's overall performances, his his um his verdict within the fans for the season, it's not gonna look great. It's gonna leave a bitter taste. I don't want that to happen. I want Luka Modric to be as involved as possible, in the best way that benefits the team, benefits himself, and we kind of maximize the last few last few energy bars left in his Arsenal, man. But yeah, Luka Modric, unfortunately, had a very average outing. I wouldn't call it, absolutely poor, but yeah, super average. We expect so much from Luka Modric. Moving on, Chouameni, um, Jacob. We did a poll. Was it last game, or I think it was after Girona, right?
No, it was.
And
I think it was
many
in the Leipzig game.
in the Leipzig game, yeah. We were super impressed. I'm not gonna lie. But someone was it Mo who mentioned, or was it Jacob who mentioned, before we came on, that he was, yes, real worthy, highlight worthy in that game, but in general, you could see deficiencies in his game. That is, very, very crucial for a centre back. But today, yes, he had a good few interceptions, but was sus under the press. His passing was off. Yeah, sum up Chouameni, man.
Yeah, I'll just go to the Leipzig game and kind of try to compare. So in the Leipzig game, what happened was Nacho was the major liability, right? That half space between
Yeah,
Nacho and Mendy and whatnot. So Xiaomeni, he
yeah.
had to come various times actually to save our asses. And in this game, it was kind of the opposite. Like Nacho was a bit more stable. He was the better of the centre backs. So it was just he didn't have to make all of those spectacular things, which Xiaomeni excels at doing because he's just such a physical specimen, right? But still has a long way to go if he has to, be a very grounded center back that can actually play for us in important games. Just games like these make you realize, we absolutely need Rudiger back for those important games.
Mo Chouameni.
No, I mean, Jacob like said everything. I think even in the Leipzig game, there were some opportunities where was making some acrobatic tackles that kind of got our attention, but we missed out on the number of times he actually let the ball past him, and somebody saved his ass. Like I think Lunan did it like a number of times. So that is something that we kind of ignored. But in today's game, there was nothing of that sort. So he kind of highlighted his mistakes even more. So for me, the thing is like we can't really wait for Rudiger to come back and Militao to come back. So I think Real Madrid, the centre back is a specialized position, and there's a reason why centre backs should play centre backs. Although I wouldn't be too harsh on Chouameni because it's the first time he's making some mistakes. Previously, he was kind of decent.
Yeah.
There were a few mistakes, but you don't really expect a CDM starting as centre back not to make any mistakes. And the thing is, like in those other games, Real Madrid played with high intensity and was like we were like really on the opponent and stopping all the crosses and then from creating chances from out wide so as to
Yeah.
not expose our own backline. But in this game today, we weren't there. We had to be more offensive, and this kind of like left them, even more open up, and we kind of saw why Germany is a CDM and not a center back. So
Let me sorry to interrupt you. Let me put forth a question, right? More. Casemiro played centre back and looked far more seamless. Is it
no, I
just
mean
down
even
to
Casemiro struggled when he played center back for Real Madrid.
I know, but not as much as Chouameni did, if in my
I
memory.
think
Maybe it's just roasting their
personally, I do
glasses.
disagree with that statement because
Mm,
whenever Casemiro kind of plays center back, we were kind of left hanging. It was like we always used
mm.
to play throughout the skin of our teeth to get away from it. So for me, like even Casemiro wasn't any better than Germany. In fact, Germany, the way we have like the intensity that we showed in the past two games, especially in games against Girona and even the ones before that, the, our team has kind of covered up for Germany, and we have gotten better results than we did with Casemiro.
Yeah, and plus, just to add, I feel like who was that center back for Barcelona who was initially a DM? He from Liverpool? Forgot his name. Mascherano.
Was Mascherano, yeah.
Mascherano, Mascherano.
Yeah, Mascherano was like personally like the only guy who did it personally that good for me. Yeah, I remember back when Casemiro actually used to be in CB. Maybe even to close some games out of our injury as well. He's always
Yeah.
a bit more riskier type player. He tends to take
Mm.
more risk But Xiaomeni, I don't know. He doesn't take too many risks, but then it's just the know-how of where to be and his positioning that kind of sometimes lets him down.
Jacob, I'll stick with you. Lunan for today.
I don't know, man. Like the players were. I know, like we're all gonna touch upon his distribution, and he was making a lot of mistakes there. But like the team as a whole, it was very hard today, and it was hard to find passes too. So I'm not gonna slate too much on Lunin this game. He did what he could.
More if you want to add something.
I mean, the
You go
only
ahead.
thing I want to say was like the distribution. Jacob already touched upon it. Even the first goal, it came off of a mistake from Lunin. We kind of got lucky that Raul almost like fluffed his lines, and we kind of took it the other way. And brilliant ball by Fede Valverde for the Joselu goal. Brilliant finish by Joselu as well. But apart from that, even before, other than that, there were kind of times where Lunin was like making missed passes and everything. The balls he was kind of like he wasn't making the right decision when it comes to playing out of the back. But then his missed passes were like less criminal compared to some of the others that we made in the final third. Like even substitutes coming on missed their passes. So I don't really, like Jacob said, I don't know if you could blame him entirely.
Off the bench, Rodrigo Mo.
For
I
me,
just really feel like he's missing the spark. But yeah, go on.
I kind of expected more from him because Ancelotti changed the formation. We went to a front three. You
Yeah.
expect more from the winger, especially Vinicius and Rodrigo in that situation. But it didn't really happen. I think there was one good run from Rodrigo where he could have where he took the ball and got into the box, but for some reason he kind of fell. Some people were expecting a penalty for that, but I don't really think there was a penalty. So the thing is like Rodrigo kind of needs to improve in certain situations, but for me, Rodrigo probably not the worst player in the pitch because we were barely being able to get the ball, out of the back, so there wasn't much for them to work with.
His wing partner, Jacob Vinicius Jr. For me, he just lacks any direction to whatever he does. I know that he kind of had a few neat plays in the first half, almost set up a goal as well. Was kind of unlucky, but yeah, decision making again sometimes just yeah, leaves me flabbergasted. But yeah, man, Vinicius Junior, Jacob.
With Vinicius, the thing is, he will get into enough situations that some of the decision making will go unpunished because he will eventually get more and more chances in every single game. That's a given.
Yeah,
For me today,
yeah,
like that left side just didn't really work too well with Fran Garcia, Vinny,
mm.
and even when Rodrigo came on, like in past matches, we're used to seeing both of these guys just stick to the same wing and combine. It just did not happen this game because we just couldn't get the ball to the final third, and yeah, pretty much. I'm kind of disappointed with his crossing. Usually, Vinny is kind of a bit more clinical with that, finding people in the box. Today, it wasn't that, but yeah, at least like we discussed before in the game, he at least tried to make things happen. It just didn't work out today.
More Vinicius.
For me, the thing is like whenever Vinicius plays, he's the only guy who's like trying to make things happen. He's the only one guy who's been trying to be creative in the final third. And even today, I kind of felt that. Sadly, I don't know if it came off because yeah, the thing is like Real Madrid had a big hole in the second striker position. There was nobody who was kind of like staying deep to take advantage of the spaces that the Rayo defense was leaving. Because Rayo defense was incredibly deep. They were like surrounding Vinicius. They were kind of covering Joselu, but there was nobody who was taking advantage of it. And every time we were playing a ball, it was going to the second striker space, and nobody was actually there in the box making a late run. Getting inside, something that Jude does really well to take advantage of those positions. When Rodrigo came on, I kind of expected him to do that, but the thing is, like in that by that time, we were barely being able to get the ball, even in Girona's box. Let alone, we weren't even able to get into Rayo's half, let alone Rayo's box. So for me personally, it kind of like I won't be too harsh on Vinicius because our midfield should have done better and gotten more progressed the ball better, but we weren't able to do that.
No, like I don't understand. Like, how can we go pretty much the same team, right? That played against Leipzig. Like these guys could play through Leipzig press, but not Rayo's press. How? What's going on?
And it was like complete lack of intensity, like I said in the first place. Like if you lack intensity, you're a minute slower to the ball, like one or two steps slower to the ball. The opponent is completely going to get the ball before you, and you don't really have the opportunity to make anything happen to make a positive contribution. Like the situation we were talking about before we started this, podcast. We were talking about how Cruz kind of was like being, I don't know what the right word is, maybe not too intense, maybe to be polite, and the Rayo player got to the ball before him, even though the Rayo player was farther from the position. So it speaks to everything, the thing. And there's a reason why Carvajal kind of lost it in towards the end of the game, because Carvajal is a guy who plays with a lot of passion. He sees everybody being so, laid back, and he wanted more intensity, and he was kind of angry with how the team was playing, and he lashed out, did something stupid, and now we are without him in the next game.
I think it's the perfect time for our manscaped ad break. Jacob, on your cue.
Hola Madridistas, I'm back once again to remind you guys that we're partnered up with Manscaped, and if you want to help and support this project and this little family of ours, be sure to check out Manscaped and use code LBR20 at checkout for 20% off and free shipping. So 2024 is in full swing. We're already a month in, and if you had any New Year's resolutions to look better, feel better, I have a company called Manscaped. They're trusted by more than 10 million men worldwide, and if you want to take a positive step, in a good direction this year, start with yourself and Manscaped asked us to introduce you guys to the new lawnmower 5.0 Ultra. It's a hair trimmer, for your sensitive bits. It features skin-safe technology, to keep your sensitive bits safe. It has an LED bright. It's waterproof. You can use it in the shower. You get 2 extra heads, blade heads, to go either full smooth or an normal blade head. If you want to go all in, you can get the whole package. You get a nose trimmer, you get crop preserver, it's a ball deodorant, you get some aftershave, and in the box you also get some boxers and a bag, to keep all of those things in. So yeah, if you're interested, go to manscaped.com, use code LBR20 to get 20% off at checkout, and free shipping. That's LBR20 to get 20% off, and free shipping at manscaped.com. And thank you guys, and back to the video.
Right. Big up Manscaped, big up Doris. You heard the lady. A perfect excuse to, show some love to us and love to Manscaped, man. LBR20 to get 20% off and free shipping on Manscaped. Who was that? Was it Jacob? Of course, it's Jacob.
No, man. Like, why
No,
is it
wasn't
always
you?
me?
I mean,
Okay.
I don't know.
Because
Somebody called me for some reason.
you just look a little more, naughtier than your average co-panelist, but it's fine. It's fine. Right. Let's get into a few of the comments before we move further. Tasaliba was mentioning if this guy bottles the league and starts Kroos's DM in important games in the Champions League, if it's not for injuries, that is his ass. It's crazy, right? Farooq told me he's going to be offline for a week. He just left the group chat. I was like, I can't even message him now.
Yeah,
I have
he
no
has
idea
some
what he's
issues with
doing.
his WhatsApp.
With his what?
WhatsApp.
WhatsApp. Okay. Fair.
We had a chat yesterday.
Oh, he told you, yeah? Okay.
Yeah,
fair.
he texted me an iMessage, Apple Advantage.
Oh, iMessage. Holy shit. Elitist bullshit, flows through every single time. But yeah, some of the comments from Ancelotti, we were talking about this during the ad break. We don't really know. He was asked not being focused because of what's happening with Mbappe. When have we not focused? We are always focused today. To scold this team for something this season is very difficult. We can definitely scold this team for performances like these. Performances like the one at home in the reverse leg against Rayo.
And he's being diplomatic. We don't really have to.
Yeah, I know.
Saying.
Yeah, 100%.
And the thing is, like
100%.
this team, yeah, I mean, they might not have lacked focus, but they lacked intensity. So.
Yeah, he also mentioned playing here is always difficult. There were a lot of duels and fights. Rayo were good. We got a point. We are not satisfied, but in the future, this could be a good point. Like I was telling Jacob, and the boys, we are not in May yet, so I don't know why Carlo is basically using time travel as an excuse for today. But I get it, the gum really gets to you after a certain while. But yeah, big up Carlo. This season has been special. I hope this is a blip. Like we had a few blips already, but I just hope this stops now. And come March, March the 6th, after that it'll be just full throttle. So March 6th is not even 3 weeks away. Just keep it. Julian Munoz, big up Julian. He was mentioning, guys, next game Sevilla, and the next will be Valencia. That game will be hot as fuck. 100%. Valencia away at the Messiah. I read somewhere that their ultras are preparing something for Vinny or something. I'm not sure if that's the case. More
the chant.
Okay. I heard some pretty insane chants as well today from the Rayo.
I think there's a newspaper from Valencia called Super Deportes or something. I don't exactly remember the name. They had this. They took out this whole front cover where they have this chant directed towards Vinicius about him. There's a famous player from Real Madrid who always keeps crying, who's always lying, and shit like that. So. From the Rayo towards Vinicius?
Yeah, when I think
so. It was towards the president, Martin Presa.
Was it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because Rayo, they have a shit stadium, and Raul Martin Presa wants to make a new stadium outside of Vallecas. So.
Oh, I heard the commentary mentioning it, but I
Yeah.
thought probably, because Vinicius was winding up a few people, so I thought probably,
No,
okay.
it's not.
Fair.
Like Rayo is the last place where you would go and expect something racist towards Vinicius. For me personally.
Yeah, it's just that the
Really?
fans are so close,
Yeah.
and you see a lot of middle fingers. But yeah, man, like I don't think anyone like abused him or anything.
Okay. Fair. Marcus Benning was mentioning Carvajal was so immature today. We would have been solid against Sevilla next week when Rudiger is back, but just sadly he grabs a foolish red card. Is Rudiger going to be actually back next week?
The expectation is,
That's
but
what
I don't know.
Orthodox says,
Okay.
but we don't know.
Let's see what happens during the week.
Okay. Because yeah, the signs should have been a bit more obvious if he was going to be back. I wouldn't risk him honestly. Sevilla can be dealt without Rudiger, in my opinion. But yeah, it is what it is.
Without
I
Carvajal
mean, we
too.
thought Vallecano would be dealt without, Rudiger.
Yeah.
Like these guys, they had one draw in like the entire of this year, 2024. They had like 4 defeats in the league and one draw coming into this game, and somehow they managed to,
But
get
we're
it
going in
going.
away, right? To Vallecas is going to be difficult.
I mean,
At home.
they played a lot of games away at Vallecas,
Yeah,
this
it's
like
just,
at home this
I mean,
season.
it's fresh manager, new
Yeah,
attitude.
Inigo
and
Perez,
whatnot.
like he did a good job, but like the quality of the team, I don't really know. They're lacking a lot of players.
Yeah,
Mexico didn't have
qualities.
anything, and still Raul de Thomas hadn't scored a single goal this season.
First goal since May.
Me and
Holy
Jacob,
shit.
and we were talking with Willie. We were saying that I was expecting Camaros to start, and I was like, yeah, you don't really want to start Thomas with the Thomas because I don't know if he's going to do anything. And
Yeah.
that really came to bite me in the day.
Mm-mm.
Of course.
Where you don't want to be bitten.
Man, we are also keeping up with the statistic. Like half the goals we concede in La Liga are former Real Madrid players.
Yeah, I read that.
I was totally expecting once Jorge de Frutos came on, and they would probably
Yeah.
he would also get a goal. Why not? Jorge de Frutos, Oscar. Like I kind of want to make an article and find out like how many teams have more Castilla players than Real Madrid, because I'm pretty sure like every team probably has more.
It's insane. 50% of the league goals we conceded are from our own academy products. It's just yeah. It's good in a way though, but it really hurts our hurts our momentum. But yeah, from the subs we talked about Carval's red already. Arda Güler, yeah. Apart from maybe that.
Bro, you have 4 minutes. Like, what are we going to talk about him? Like 4 minutes to do anything? He doesn't even have the rhythm to play, and the kind of player he is, you don't really expect them to come on and provide. I don't know, like intensity, verticality. This is the kind of things you expect from a substitute, but Arda Güler is not that kind of player. So I don't really know. For 4 minutes, for me, it's like too short to evaluate.
I'm just dying to speak about him. He should be getting more minutes. Simple as just ease them in because we'll need him in the Champions League along with guys like Brahim.
I think Ancelotti, first of all, delayed the first sub that he made. Like till 70th minute, what was he doing? He should have been in this minute 60. Second thing, he kept Modric too long. For me, it was like 86 minutes too long. But okay, I don't. If you don't want to be too harsh, probably you should have subbed Modric off by the 70th or 75th minute. Arda Güler, like you said, should have been like much sooner.
We should ease these guys in, man. Like, come on, this is the business end of the season. His injury has been in the rear view mirror for like 4 or 5 months now, at least. And people might think this is overblown, but in the Champions League, I will repeat again that we will need someone with a twinkle in his eyes, like Brahim, like Arda Güler, especially with how our guys are picking up injuries. You never know, when we might need to call upon them. Sorry, but yeah, that's I think pretty much it, man. We have I think covered all the major talking points for today. Sevilla is gonna be a test. It's definitely gonna be no game against Sevilla is gonna be super easy. We have yeah, go on.
Can we talk about like Carvajal is suspended, Camavinga is as well for Sevilla, and if Rudiger doesn't make it back, like what is our backline? Do we have a backline?
That's a good point. I really didn't want to talk about it, but since you brought it up,
Vasquez,
Ferland Mendy.
Yeah,
Ferland Mendy's back.
Yeah.
Nacho starts, Chouameni starts, and then Vasquez starts. That's it. Makeshift again.
And midfield, you have Kroos and Modric starting. Everybody's worst nightmare.
Yeah, maybe to appease Ramos. the whole narrative and all that, maybe.
Ramos is going to score against us. Don't worry.
Oh
Former
boy,
player,
that will be
Jackson.
Holy shit. Shit. I just don't want that to happen, but yeah, it's gonna be interesting, how that game is supposed to, the way it looks. Sevilla has had a bit of momentum. They even drew a 0-0 against who was it yesterday? God. But
Valencia.
Valencia, right?
They had
Away,
one shot on
still
target.
really,
Yeah.
but away the Mestalla still decent for how the season has been, going so far. I
They
really
were lucky
expected them to
to
get
escape
relegated.
with that point, man.
Really, yeah.
Yeah.
But I didn't watch the game. I didn't watch the game, but I'm just happy that they're not relegated. Just for the sake of Ramos and whatnot. But yeah, yeah, that's pretty much it. Like I always say, boys, do smash the like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We are on the road to 2K, and yeah, smash the follow button on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, on basically all podcast platforms we are on. We are available on all major ones, and it's very imperative that you guys also smash the ratings over on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all of that. On Apple Podcasts, I think we just have a single rating so far. I know we don't have a lot of people tuning in from Apple Podcasts compared to Spotify, that is. But yeah, people, if
We
you
have more
can,
people from Apple Podcasts than Spotify.
really.
Yeah, more than 50% of our listening group is from Apple Podcasts.
wow.
I don't know, because when I look at the stats, but anyway, I might be, I'm not remembering stuff. But yeah, people, you heard the man, right? It's simple. Just give us a rating. It'll really help us, get a little more visibility, and especially on Spotify again, for the people tuning in, please do smash the ratings, man. If you can give us a 5, if you think we deserve it, please do so. And yeah, pick up all the people sending us feedback, especially in the DMs on Twitter, on Facebook and all that. Super humbling, like I always reiterate. Big up our partners on Real Madrid, on Instagram, Real Madrid Committee. They run a brilliant fan page. Go check them out. The link is in the description below. Big up Manscaped again. Super pleased to have Manscaped as our partners. And yeah, man, perfect excuse to show some support, show some love to the pod mainly. Use the code LBR20 to get 20% off and free shipping on manscaped.com. I repeat, LBR20 to get 20% off and free shipping on manscaped.com. The link is in the pinned comment as well as the description below. Yeah, until we kind of look forward to Sevilla, I think it's a wrap. Marcus Benningham's comment, did I read it out? I think I read it out. Big up Marcus, big up Julian, big up every single one of you within the chat. Tasaleba, Madrid TV, big up you as always. But yeah, people, I think I have to big up Fede as well. He had a good volley that we didn't talk about. Decent attempt. Fede of probably last season pushed that away, but unlucky. It hit the post. Great attempt. I should have kind of remembered that, but I couldn't. But I wrote it down. I really was pleased with the volley. But yeah, better fixtures, better luck. Hopefully in the coming weeks we need it. Especially with injuries at least. But yeah, people. Until next time. Ala Madrid.
Hala
Real
Madrid.
Madrid.